I agree with you that, like, yeah, the Palestinians have agency, and I wish some of them had made better decisions. Now, many of them have made better decisions, and it's still resulted in nothing better happening for them and their people. And so I do find it kind of hard to, like, lecture a group of people who are going through so much. Like, the level of human suffering that's being inflicted on the people of Gaza right now cannot be overstated. And so, you know, to lecture them about how you're supposed to handle that exactly. But I will say, man, I think there's kind of this selective empathy that you have here. Like, I agree with you. You know, talk about these teenagers being slaughtered at a music festival on October 7th. It's like, my God, like, I have little kids. I can't, like, imagine the nightmare of this happening to somebody's children. But at the same time, we're not having this conversation on October 9th or in November or December of 2023. We're having it in 2025, where the tragedy that's been inflicted on Gaza is orders of magnitudes greater than October 7th. There are just every day people are inundated with images of just dead women and children. This is like one of the most brutal wars. And by several metrics that really, you know, like personally matter to me, like the number of dead kids, I think that's a pretty good one. It's more children have died than in any recent war. I mean, this is like, it does, I do think there's almost like a fundamental framing bias that you get into when people have these debates, and I've had several of them, as you have also. But it seems to me that there's almost an implicit difference in the value that you place on Israeli life versus the value that we place on Palestinians' life. And to even, like, we've gone this far into the conversation and haven't even talked about the fact that, like, dude, Israel has, feel however you feel. If you want to argue, I haven't been there, stuff does get through the blockade, okay, fine. This is a captive people, you know, that Israel has dominated since at least 1967. Many of them are there because of the creation of the state of Israel, who used to live in what is now called Israel. And they are just, I mean, the amount of human suffering that's being inflicted on them, when, even as you kind of acknowledged with the George W. Bush exporting democracy, Hamas in many ways was forced on these people. In fact, we saw protests against Hamas just recently. So I don't know. I mean, that to me seems to be the greatest human tragedy. And I think much more so than you can characterize it as people being pro-Hamas or people being anti-Semitic. But I actually think that the mass movement around the world of people who oppose this war has been that people feel really awful about all these babies and